Cardiac cycle. The number of times the heart undergoes depolarization and repolarization in 1 minute.
Anything else? Any better definition? Do you remember? 33 page in my book. Cyclical events which take place during each beat. Okay, that is actually cardiac cycle. We'll see what cyclical changes take place. 533. Just before this only. Yeah. So this is, first of all, we will write the definition. Beta. See, the cardiac cycle is defined as the sequence of coordinated events taking place in the heart during each beat. Okay, during each beat we have systole and diastole. No? So during each beat, what are the like sequence of events which are taking place? That is nothing but cardiac cycle. Okay. Now the events of cardiac cycle, we have two events, that is atrial events and ventricular events. So now Ritika told us, like the duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. Okay, and the heartbeat is 72 per minute. That means during each beat, that is lap and up, that is systole and diastole, that is taking around 0.8 seconds, and during that 0.8 seconds so many events are taking place. So atrial systole will be 0.11 and atrial diastole will be 0.69. Just if you do the grand total, 0.1 plus 0.7 is nothing but 0.8. So atrial events are for 0.8 seconds. Similarly, ventricular events, ventricular systole is 0.27 and ventricular diastole is 0.53. So again, if you check, the total is 0.8 seconds. So now further, if you just check the ventricular systole, we have further these steps like isometric contraction, ejection period. So isometric contraction is taking 0.05 seconds and ejection period is 0.22. So overall ventricular systole is 0.27. Then ventricular diastole, we have so many events. Protodiastole 0.04, isometric relaxation 0.08, rapid filling 0.11, slow filling 0.19, last rapid filling 0.11. So grand total is 0.53, as you can see here, ventricular diastole. Now each event we are going to elaborate in detail. So before that, I will take you to the very good picture of heart so as to understand cardiac cycle better. And then we will come back to this picture. I'll take you to another chapter just to check that diagram of heart. Of course, this diagram is showing us conduction system of heart. Okay, we know already, like the conduction system, the pacemaker of heart is situated in the right atrium at the opening of superior vena cava, that is SA node. From here, the information is moving to AV node, okay, through internodal fibers. Then we have right bundle branch, left bundle branch, Purkinje fibers. Of course, we are not talking about this now. Now, I am just making you to understand the chambers and how that cycle is taking place. Just a minute. Hello? See here, beta. So we have right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. We know pretty well, like between right atrium and right ventricle, what valve do we have here? Atrioventricular valve?
Tricuspid.
Yeah, tricuspid valve. Between the left atrium and left ventricle, what valve do we have?
Bicuspid.
Also called as mitral valve.
Mitral.
Okay, very good. See, from the right ventricle, which is the big blood vessel which is coming out?
Pulmonary trunk.
Pulmonary.
Okay, very good. From left ventricle, what is the blood vessel which comes out?
Aorta.
Aorta. Very good. See, at the starting point of pulmonary trunk and also the starting point of aorta, do you find any valve there?
Semilunar valve.
Semilunar valves. Very good.
Aortic pulmonary semilunar valves.
Very good. Pulmonary semilunar valve and aortic semilunar valves. So between the right atrium, between the atria and ventricles, we have AV valves. In physiology, instead of the terms like tricuspid and bicuspid, we are making use of AV valves, atrium and ventricle. Okay, so now the closure of AV valves will cause a first heart sound, and then closure of semilunar valves will cause second heart sound. Like that we say, isn't it better? So now see here, what are the events? Now I will keep taking you to this picture in order to make you understand. So we will study ventricular events first. So automatically you will understand atrial events. So first of all, I am talking about isometric contraction. So in the isometric contraction phase, what is happening is the right ventricle and left ventricle are full of blood. Okay. So these AV valves are tightly closed, and even the semilunar valves are tightly closed, and this chamber is stretching with fullness because the blood is quite full in these both the chambers. So that particular phase of cardiac cycle is actually called as isometric contraction period. So isometric contraction period is taking how much time? 0.05. That means AV valves. Now let us read it once, you will understand it more better. It's very interesting, beta. See, isometric contraction period. See, it's the first phase. It lasts for 0.05 seconds. So it's a type of muscular contraction characterized by increase in tension without any change in the length of muscle fibers. Okay. So after immediately after atrial systole, you will see this will come. Now, what valves are closed? You see, semilunar valves are already closed. AV valves are also closed. So tension in the ventricular musculature actually is increasing. Okay, there is sharp rise in the pressure inside the ventricles. So here closure of AV valves at the beginning of isometric contraction period is producing first heart sound. Is that clear, beta? Isometric contraction
Yes, ma'am.
means if you just consider like there is a big dam and doors are there, and the above doors are closed and below doors are closed, and the dam is now full of water, something like that you imagine. Okay, so significance of isometric contraction. So the ventricular pressure is increasing greatly when the increase above the pressure of aorta and pulmonary arteries, semilunar valves will open. Okay, so then what happens, you see, so much so pressure is increasing in the right and left ventricle that the pressure is moving forwards. No, so here we have pulmonary semilunar valve, and here we have aortic semilunar valve. So that will open. That means these doors are opening, and the blood is now rushing from the right ventricle. It will rush into pulmonary trunk. From the left ventricle, it will rush into aorta. So that phase is nothing but ejection period. Okay, beta. So that is due to the opening of semilunar valves and isotonic contraction of ventricle, the blood is ejected out of both the ventricles. Hence, the period is called as ejection period. So, how much is the time taken for ejection? 0.22 seconds. Okay. So, first stage, that means suppose if the dam doors are opened, suddenly if the full water is there, obviously around lot of water will just rush out. So first stage starts immediately after opening of semilunar valves. During this stage, large amount of blood is rapidly ejected from both the ventricles. It will last for 0.13 seconds. Okay. Second stage, of course, now also the blood is moving from the atria into the ventricles, but from the ventricles into the pulmonary trunk and aorta, but not with so much speed. Okay, because so much blood is not there. So during this stage, the blood is ejected, but slowly with less force. So the duration of this period is 0.09 second. Okay, so that is ejection period. End systolic volume. So ventricles are not emptied at the end of ejection period, and some amount of blood remains in each ventricle. So the amount of blood remaining in the ventricles at the end of ejection period is called end systolic volume. That means, see, the ventricles are not completely emptied and some amount of blood is still there inside the ventricles. How much is that? 60 to 80 ml per ventricle. Okay, that is. Now we can actually measure all these. The measurement of end diastolic volume is radionuclide angiocardiography. These are the techniques with the help of which we can actually measure how much amount of blood is left over in the ventricles. Okay, so that is, I hope this is clear. Ejection period. So ejection fraction, you need not go much in detail, but still, if you want, you can just take this calculation better. First, read what is ejection fraction is nothing but the fraction of end diastolic volume that is ejected out by each ventricle per beat. That means from 130 to 150 ml of end diastolic volume, 70 ml is ejected out by each ventricle. That is stroke volume. Okay, now determination of ejection fraction, you need to learn this formula. Okay, where E is ejection fraction, SV is stroke volume, then EDV is end diastolic volume. At the end of the diastole, how much amount of blood is remaining inside the ventricles, that is end diastolic volume. We are also measuring end systolic volume, and then if you substitute in this formula, we will be able to know the ejection fraction. Okay, that means how much amount of blood is being pumped by each ventricle into the respective pulmonary artery and aorta, that we are measuring in this way by using this formula. Okay, beta. Now, what is happening now? Next phase we are now entering into protodiastole. So, what is protodiastole? See, now I will take you back to that picture, beta, so that you will understand. Now, is the blood present? How much amount of blood is left over in the ventricles now?
120 ml.
Less than that, no, beta. 70 to 80 ml only is left over. After ejection.
That is not end diastolic volume, ma'am.
No. See here, what is, I'll take you to that point again, beta. See here. See, 70 ml is ejected. Ejection fraction refers to ejected.
Oh, sorry. Okay. 120 50 ml, ma'am.
Huh. So only that much after, see here, this point better, this is it. Amount of blood remaining in the ventricles at the end of ejection period is called end systolic volume. How much is this better?
That is 60 to 80.
60 to 80. Only that much amount of blood is left over now. Imagine now the ventricles are having only very less amount of blood. Okay. So now these valves are open. Which one? Semilunar valves are open. Now if these valves remain open, these ventricles will lose that much amount of blood also, isn't it? So that means ventricles tend to become completely empty. And these valves are closed or open during ejection period. So I'm talking AV valves.
Ma'am, atrioventricular valves will remain closed.
Very good. AV valves are closed and semilunar valves are open. And now the pressure is falling or pressure is rising when the blood is going out?
The pressure will decrease.
Pressure will fall down. Very good. Pressure will fall down. These valves are closed, these valves are open, and the ventricles are not in the position to lose more blood, isn't it? They also should maintain some blood, and now they are actually in need of blood. So what happens? Slowly these AV valves will open and the atria are actually filled with blood because of venous return. Okay, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, bringing about the blood, the pulmonary trunk taking the blood to the lungs, and it is getting oxygenated, and pulmonary veins collecting the oxygenated blood. So that is the mechanism what you study in pulmonary circulation. Now atria are full of blood, AV valves are tightly closed, ventricles are now with low pressure and low blood. So what do you think will happen?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat?
Yeah, but see, ventricles are empty. They are having only less amount of blood, 60 to 80 ml of blood. Okay, AV valves are closed and atria are full of blood.
Yes, ma'am.
Atria are full of blood and semilunar valves are also, no, because they are open, the blood is moving from the atria into the pulmonary trunk and aorta. So gradually when the pressure is falling down, what do you think may happen?
Ventricular filling will occur.
How does it happen, ventricular filling?
By the opening of tricuspid and bicuspid valves.
Very good, very good. Now, whenever the pressure is falling down in ventricles, what is happening? These AV valves
the semilunar valves close, and the bicuspid, tricuspid open.
Yeah, the AV valves will open and the semilunar valves will close, and the blood will rush from the atria into the ventricles. Is it clear, Shabi? Are you understanding better? Ritika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, better. Now see, this will be explained in series of steps, but the concept remains same. Now we have reached till which phase, beta? We have reached ejection.
Phase of filling.
Yeah. Now ejection fraction, ejection period is over. No. Now let us
Yes, ma'am.
elaborate. Now because we have understood the diagram. Now coming to protodiastole. Now just Imad was telling semilunar valves will close, isn't it? Because now the ventricle should fill up. You see, protodiastole is the first stage of ventricular diastole. So hence the name protodiastole. Diastole means always the relaxation phase. So duration of this period is 0.04 seconds. So due to ejection of blood, the pressure in the aorta and pulmonary trunk is increased and pressure in the ventricle is dropping down because the blood has moved from the ventricles into the pulmonary trunk and aorta, but the blood is no more present in the ventricles. That's why the pressure in the ventricles is dropping. The pressure in aorta and pulmonary trunk is increasing during protodiastole. This will be told in stepwise manner, beta. I told you as a summary. We need to understand it slowly, the concepts. So when intraventricular pressure is becoming less than the pressure in aorta and pulmonary artery, the semilunar valves will close. Okay, that means the ventricles cannot tend to lose more blood than this. So immediately the semilunar valves will close so that no more blood is moving into the pulmonary trunk and aorta. Okay, then AV valves are already closed. That means what? Now the ventricles are nicely resting. Neither it is receiving blood nor it is pumping blood. ऊपर से AV valves are closed, from down semilunar valves are closed. So no other changes occur in the heart during this period. So thus protodiastole indicates only the end of systole and beginning of diastole. So how much period it is taking for the protodiastole? 0.04 seconds. So this is protodiastole. So because of the closure of the semilunar valves, you will see there is second heart sound production. Okay, beta? That is protodiastole. But no, though whatever we have studied, like those valves will open, rushing of blood will occur slowly. So, but these phases are being described like nicely in okay, beta. Then isometric relaxation period. That means what? Here the ventricular musculature is nicely relaxing. Okay, characterized by decrease in tension because no blood is there inside the ventricles. That's why tension is less without any change in length of muscle fibers. Okay, the ventricular muscles are nicely relaxing and this is isovolumetric relaxation. Okay, so that means IV valves are closed. Semilunar valves are also closed. Now both the ventricles relax as closed cavities without any change in volume or length of muscle fibers. So intraventricular pressure decreases during this period and the duration is 0.08 seconds. This 0.04 seconds and 0.08 seconds, nicely the ventricles are relaxing. See how wonderful it is. Within zero point 0.8 duration of cardiac cycle, the heart is taking so much thing for relaxation also. The significance is the isometric relaxation period, the ventricular pressure decreases greatly. So whenever the pressure is decreasing so greatly, what happens? AV valves will open, isn't it? So whenever AV valves are opening, there will be rushing of blood from the atria into the ventricles. So what do you call that phase as? Rapid. Rapid filling phase. So when AV valves are opened, there is sudden rush of blood from the atria into the ventricles. So 70% of filling takes place during this first phase and it is lasting for 0.11 second. So third heart sound is actually produced due to rushing of blood from the ventricles, from the atria into the ventricles. Okay, so this is rapid filling phase. Obviously, suppose when the dam is full of water, when doors are opened, suddenly the water will rush out. But after some time, the pressure of water which is flowing through the door will slow down. Similarly, in the slow filling phase, after sudden rush of blood, the ventricular filling becomes slow. Now it is called slow filling phase. It is called diastasis. Diastasis means slowly the blood is moving from the atria into the ventricles. Previously, 70% of filling of ventricles has occurred in this way. In slow filling, 20% of ventricular filling is occurring. Duration is 0.19 second. Last rapid filling phase is, you just remember this atrial kick. Atrial kick means whatever leftover blood is there in the atria are contracting in such a way that it is pushing the blood from the atria into the ventricles. That's what. That means left out 10%. See, if you just make a total 70%, 20%, 10%. Rapid filling phase, the filling of ventricle is 70%. Slow filling phase, the filling of ventricles 20%. Last rapid filling phase, the filling of blood from the atria to the ventricles is 10%. Is that clear, beta? So that's how. Now, end diastolic volume is the amount of blood remaining in each ventricle at the end of diastole. So end systolic volume was 60 to 80, no beta? So after diastole, the amount of blood remaining is how much? 130 to 150 ml per ventricle. I hope ventricular events are clear for three of you.
Yes.
Okay, beta. Now, see, atrial events are actually very much, atrial kick is nothing but the atrial event only. See here, now atrial events, I told you I will discuss later. Atrial systole and atrial diastole. See, atrial systole is nothing but last rapid filling phase. I told you atrial kick, 10% of filling will take place during this phase. No, that is the atrial systole. Whatever points, 10% of filling, no, that one. You can just write it here, beta, the last one. Okay, the last rapid filling phase is nothing but atrial systole. You can see the duration also is same, 0.11 second and 0.11 second. Okay, beta. Then atrial diastole. So after atrial systole, atrial diastole starts. That means now atria are completely empty, no beta. That means no blood is there. Again, atria cannot take the risk of being empty. Now in this phase, gradually you will see AV valves will close and the blood is now filling up through superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and through the pulmonary veins. The filling gradually takes place during atrial diastole. This is not so big beta, it's small only. Okay. So just read once, you will understand. I hope you understood cardiac cycle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta. Chavi, Ritika.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see here, beta. Intra, like atrial pressure curve changes and intraventricular, both also I will explain you know. See here. See, pressure changes in cardiac cycle also, you please learn this table better. How much pressure is there in the left atrium? Maximum is how much, minimum is how much. Now, usually you will get, now I'll just take you to the question once again. See here, he is asking us intra-atrial pressure changes. See, draw the right atrial pressure curve and describe the pressure changes in right atrium during cardiac cycle. Okay, that means we are supposed to write the pressure changes here better. Okay, so that means this. How much is the maximum pressure and how much is the minimum pressure? We are supposed to write it better. Okay, then. Now see here, you are finding a graph here. These are actually in the, I don't know about new edition, but in old edition, this is print mistake. You can correct it. Intra-atrial pressure changes. That means inside the atrium, we are recording the pressure. Okay, that is intra-atrial pressure changes during cardiac cycle. Now see here, you have a graph which is representing three positive waves, that means which are marked as ACV, where the pressure is positive, high in the sense, and three negative waves, X, X1, Y. Okay, each of which will be representing a part of cardiac cycle. We have what we have just studied: atrial systole, ventricular systole. Okay, and its events like isometric contraction, ejection, protodiastole, and all. Now see, if you just elaborate like intra-atrial pressure changes, you're just recording this. Okay, So generally, it is similar to something like jugular venous pulse, which is called as phlebogram. So here A wave is representing atrial systole. Okay, the pressure rises sharply up to 5 mm of Hg. X is representing atrial diastole. C is isometric contraction. Just now we have studied the details of all these points. You need to just remember the pressure readings. Okay, X1 wave is ejection period. Okay, X1, then V is atrial diastole and Y is your third negative wave appears due to opening of AV valves. Okay, so ACV, XX1Y. You need to remember this graph. Okay. Similarly, we have a reading for the ventricular pressure changes also. In the ventricular pressure changes, you need to learn this graph. Okay. Inside the ventricles, whatever are the pressure changes is being read in this way. Okay. You have like this bit in this way. Okay. So AB is representing atrial systole. From B to C, it is isometric contraction. Then from C to D, it is ejection period. D to E, it is protodiastole. Okay. E to F is isometric relaxation. Then F to G is rapid filling and G to back A is slow filling. Now after A, again atrial systole starts. Okay. And readings are given, just read once, you will understand. So these are ventricular changes. Okay, and these words now you will understand because we have just studied it like cardiac cycle, atrial systole, isometric contraction, ejection period, protodiastole. All these words now we are well versed with. So you sit nicely and prepare for this because this is very, very important essay question. When we study cardiac, like heart sounds also, again those heart sounds will be correlated with this only, but again, like that particular point of cardiac cycle. Okay, beta. So this is one answer. Okay, what is the next question? Respiratory centers and the neural regulation of respiration. Okay, we'll go to respiratory system. You can open your respective pages, beta. Where are the respiratory centers situated?
In the medulla.
Okay. In the pons and medulla oblongata. Okay, that is in the brain stem. Okay, nice, very good. Can you name the respiratory centers, beta?
Uh,
Ritika?
the dorsal
Very good.
respiratory group, the ventral respiratory group,
Dorsal group of neurons, ventral group of neurons. Apneustic center is there, isn't it?
pneumotaxic center,
Yeah,
and
very good.
apneustic.
Okay, fine. Very good. Regulation of respiration, 760. Can you name few nuclei which are found in the floor of fourth ventricle? From anatomy knowledge.
Nucleus ambiguous,
Very good.
nucleus tractus solitarius,
Yeah, excellent, beta. Okay. So now see here. So this is our question now, regulation of respiration, and to be more specific, now we are being asked like neural regulation, that means nervous mechanism. So in the nervous mechanism, we have certain respiratory centers. So the respiratory centers, like we have in the medulla, dorsal respiratory group of neurons, ventral respiratory group of neurons. In the pons, we have apneustic center and pneumotaxic center. Now let us see these centers better. This is brainstem, not completely, only pons and medulla are shown here. Okay. So you are finding the upper midbrain is not there. So in the pons, the center, you have upper part of the centers are pneumotaxic, below which you have apneustic. In the medulla, we have dorsal group of neurons and ventral group of neurons. See here, the dorsal group of neurons, where are they situated? They are diffusely situated in the nucleus of tractus solitarius. Nucleus of tractus solitarius is nothing but diffuse group of nuclei, what you see in the floor of fourth ventricle. That is nothing but in the brainstem, in the floor, you will see that center. Okay, there you will see we have selected like collection of nuclei which are called as dorsal group of neurons. Okay, this the type of neurons, see that means whenever this dorsal group of neurons, these pink neurons, whenever they are stimulated, we start inspiration. That means inspiratory neurons. The function is they are always active and they generate inspiratory pump and they have autorhythmic property. That means inspiration followed by expiration. I think the link will go in less than 1 minute and you please rejoin beta once it gets disconnected. Okay, Chavi, you please don't miss beta. Next, we have ventral group of neurons. See here, which are shown in green color. Just below dorsal group of neurons, we have ventral group. So in the ventral group, see this is nucleus ambiguous and nucleus retroambiguous. These are also collection of nuclei what we see in the brainstem. That is, no, they are both inspiratory and expiratory in function. So they are inactive during quiet breathing and they are active during forced breathing. Okay, so these are. So apart from that, we also have the two other centers, right? In the pons, we have seen pneumotaxic center and also apneustic center. Now let us see those centers. See here.